Yesterday, the 11th of May 2011, Google had its second of 2 days of their Google I/O press conference. They revealed a couple of interesting things. They revealed a number of improvements to Chrome OS. They also revealed what you see in front of you. What you see in front of you is one of two Chromebooks, and the other one is by Samsung. The one you see in front of you is going to retail for $350. The one from Samsung will retail for $450. You can take a look at that by taking a look at the various tech blogs, Engadget, Gizmodo. It's all over the place. What I'm here to talk about is the possibility of trouble-free, affordable accessibility for the blind. Before I do that, though, let's get into what I'm talking about. For those of you who have not seen Chrome OS before, this is what it looks like, and for those of you who cannot see, I'll explain this to you. You've got a grid of icons, and you have essentially the first row's got 6, the second's got 5, the third and fourth have 4 icons. You've got things like your Gmail, your Hotmail, your Yahoo, you got Pandora in here, you've got MySpace, Facebook, Twitter. Just a number of things that you can use. There's also a utility down here that says Get More. So essentially, Google Chrome OS is an online operating system. And if anybody out there is used to the Chrome browser, it is pretty much the same thing. Were I to click Gmail, it would go ahead and open up your Gmail account. Now, obviously, I've signed out for privacy reasons. This is the web store. For those of you who are curious, Angry Birds is coming to the web store. You've got your new and noteworthy. If I go down here to social and communication, I've got a whole bunch of stuff here. But I'm interested in a specific thing, so I'm going to go up here to the search, and I'm going to type in Facebook chat. And I'm going to go ahead and, I'm just going to, let's just say I wanted IM+, okay? Let's click that. You get more information, and you can go ahead and install it. Let's go back out. You've got a number of applications you can choose from. Let me go back to that search because I wanted to show you something. The one that's interesting me is this sock chat. I don't know who thought up the name. It's rather interesting. It's essentially video Facebook chat. And the reason I say that's interesting is because your Chromebook will come with a webcam on board, a 1.3 megapixels, so it's going to be pretty good for video chats. So that's the Chrome Web Store. Now, you're probably thinking, well, hold on. How does this affect me if I'm blind? Is Google Chrome going to be accessible? This is a question that I asked as well. Until I saw this. If you Google Chrome OS accessibility, this is what you'll get as the first link. Control-Alt-Z is your shortcut on the login screen to activate and deactivate this. Chromevox is the screen reader for Chrome OS, and you can activate it and deactivate it on login. If we take a look at, let's just take a look at the Getting Started guide. You've got things like configuring your netbook, configuring your browser, and it's a very simple step-by-step. For example, browsing with Chromevox. The browser the browser beeps when a web page is finished loading and is ready for you to navigate. Use the Tab key to navigate through selectable items such as links, tabs, and command buttons. When you reach an item you want to select, press Enter. To navigate through the text on screen, you can use the Chromevox modifier keys Shift and Search. So it's similar in a way to VoiceOver, on the Mac. With the arrow keys to navigate through the page, or you can execute additional more specific navigation commands. But as you can see, it's very, very step-by-step, very easy to follow. You've got your text levels. Levels are groups, objects, for instance, such as bullet points. You've got your sentences, words, and characters, so you can navigate that way. Sticky mode. It's kind of similar to, for those of you who are on the Mac, if you initiate the voiceover lock for the voiceover keys, it's pretty much the same thing here in sticky mode. That basically locks down the modifiers in Chromebooks. So it's very easy to use and very interesting. I cannot wait to get my hands on this. And let me explain why. Some of you may have fear with Google keeping your information. That fear is not unfounded. But let's look at this from the point of view of many people who are blind. Let's take a look at this. I should point out that 75% of people who are blind are unemployed. $400 is cheap for this market. It's a lot better than $1,400. The closest thing that we have to an out-of-the-box trouble-free, or I shouldn't say trouble-free, there have been issues with the Macintosh, but the closest thing I can give you in terms of price point for an out-of-the-box computer experience for a notebook is $1,000, and that is a MacBook. So this is really big for us. It's trouble-free, and I should say it's trouble-free in that after having read through this, it details the help, and it even says what keys will not be recognized at this point, and it's continually being updated along with the rest of the operating system. The reason why I say hopefully trouble-free is because there is always going to be websites with inaccessible elements. But the trouble-free part has to go along with, for example, if you're using a screen reader system access to go, you don't have to worry about it booting or crashing, and you don't have to worry about sticking to Internet Explorer. There's no virus protection needed because that would eliminate possible accessibility hurdles with the software that you use to protect your computer. And the reason is because everything is basically on the web. There's a local portion stored on your hard drive that's a restore image, it's stored into a ROM image that essentially, if your computer is compromised, and it checks for this every time you boot, if your computer is compromised, it will allow you to restore from a backup. If you don't have a backup, you can go ahead and get a fresh image from the internet. Now, that's not to say that there's zero trouble. Obviously, you need to exercise common sense when you're online. But then again, that really applies for everyone, not just Google. Chrome OS is based on Gentoo Linux, and that distribution, to my understanding, is aimed at security professionals. So that's really interesting. Everything is automatic. Updates, you don't have to worry about keeping your system up to date because it'll do that for you. And the reason I say that is because for a lot of people, especially those who are new to computers, or those that have to have a lot of work done and don't want to worry about maintenance, this would be definitely a very, very nice asset. The screen reader, again, Control-Alt-Z to turn on and off your screen reader. It has to be done from login because it cannot be done on your account. Because essentially you are in your account and you have no access to it. But the nice thing is that at login, if a family member is done with the Chromebook, they can activate the screen reader for you, and you can go ahead and log in, and it's really, really nice. On the Samsung unit, if we go back to the images here, the Samsung Chromebook, you're looking at the Acer one right now, which is going to have 6.5 hours of battery life, which is not bad. The Samsung unit's going to get 8.5 hours, which for a college student is going to be plenty. And again, like we said earlier, $400 is a lot better than it's about $1,000 to $2,000 less than what we call a note taker, what you would consider a PDA in the sighted world. And it's cheaper than any other ready-to-go out-of-the-box talking computer solution. For example, again, we look at the Macintosh. That's about $1,000 cheaper, depending on the model you get. It's about, I'd say, $1,400 or $1,800 cheaper than the than the laptop, which was essentially a screenless laptop computer with Windows eyes on board back in the early part of the 21st century, back around the year 2000. I don't think they're still in business. I don't know. It's lightweight, very easy to carry, and I took a look at some Honeycomb tablets today, Android Honeycomb tablets, and from what I'm reading, it sounds like Chrome OS is going to be a lot more accessible to screen reader users. A lot of you are probably going to say, well, yeah, I can go ahead and install Chrome OS on my laptop. The issue is that installation is not for everyone, especially those who are not necessarily computer savvy. I mean, they may know the internet and nothing else. Also, is the installer accessible? And not to mention, the keyboard on a Chromebook has been designed specifically for Chrome OS, and you know, you're going to end up with dead keys on the keyboard, so it might be a little bit of a challenge trying to get your keyboard. You know, you'd have to learn your keyboard all over again, I think. Also, this is my personal concern. I think I talked earlier about the Chrome OS being stored on a ROM image for restoration purposes in case your system should be compromised. Would the installation give you that same type of security? Would it actually install the ROM image? That's what I'm not sure of, because from the looks of it, that ROM image was embedded into the hardware. And that's something that if you were to install Chrome OS on your typical laptop, you probably would not get. Don't quote me on that, because I don't know that for a fact. And some of you may be thinking, well, why don't I just stick to Windows? Why don't I just stick to, you know, if you're in the market for a new computer, I would seriously look at Chrome OS. And again, you do have concerns about Google with your data. But again, let's take a look at the market demographics of this particular market. You're looking at a market that's 75% unemployed. The agencies are strapped for money. Anywhere we can save a penny here and there and still get our work done, that's what matters here. That's what matters here, is trying to get more people who are blind, you know, into the office, into the work. And for those of you who are curious, by the way, speaking of work and speaking of school, educational institutions and businesses, $20 a month flat rate, $28 if you're a business, for 3 years, and you get free maintenance and upgrades. And that is going to be a real, I seriously think that if school districts were to adopt this, they would spend less time managing their computers and more time learning about various subjects of the world. And that, I think, is really, really, really nice. So again, Chrome OS, very, very nice solution from the looks of it. I cannot wait to get my hand on this. It'll be out June 15th at Best Buy and Amazon, bestbuy.com and amazon.com, and I hope at Best Buy stores, but there was nothing said about that. Anyway, Chrome OS, what do you think of it? Thank you for watching. Comments are welcome, and have a nice day.